What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with J Money in the Shark. It's Friday. It's NBA payday. We're trying to get to some cash, my guys. What's up with you, Shark? Everything cool with you? How was your Thanksgiving?
Beautiful day, November 26, 2021. Shark Waters Nation, J Money is Money. Friday, huge slate, of course. Beautiful, beautiful day, beautiful time. Thanksgiving was excellent. Wearing a hat, I'm not sure if we're buying or selling, but I think that is the theme of the show today. We're a little unprepped, but maybe not so unprepped, because sometimes when you're unprepped, your mind doesn't wander as much as it wants to. We're focused, we're committed, we're ultimate, we're dominant. It is Shark Waters Nation. It is J Money's Money. J Money, lead the way, please.
Yes, sir, man. Let's go to the streets of LA here. We got an early matinee type of game, 3:30 Eastern start. We got the Clippers here coming off the overtime loss versus the Mavs at the house. And then the Pistons, they're going cross country here as well. They're going to LA here for the first time this year, heading out on the West Coast here, Shark. We got the home team laying 11.5. I'll be honest with you. I think there's a hidden angle to maybe hopping on some of these road teams, especially some of those dogs. We know Thanksgiving at the house, you turned up with your family, maybe having a few drinks, could be letdown spots for a few of these teams as well. I'm looking at it the last few years as well. It's quite a few home teams losing outright. I'm not saying that the Pistons can win outright, but the only way I can look at this game is looking towards taking the points here. I'm not looking towards taking the Clippers today, Shark. Anything on this one?
Yeah, I mean, just my natural contrarian self coming out here a little bit. The under seems very obvious here, particularly in matinee Pacific Coast, 12:30 p.m. on that time scale. 205 is very low. And I think the obvious mind would say that should be an under. First of all, the line does speak to an under. Second of all, it's just this idea that they can't ball at that hour. I think we could see more points than not. We talk about an NFL football, oftentimes short week. People think, oh, it's going to be all sorts of, just offensive ambiguity. It's not. Oftentimes, it's the defense that is unregulated. I think you could see it over here. 205 is a lackluster total, but I think you could see some points here, Jay.
Yeah, and that over will correlate with the Pistons as well. Obviously, the Clippers are a really good defensive team. If they don't bring their best game and play their best defense, I could see an over, and I could see the Pistons sliding inside this number. For the Clippers, obviously, they could blow them out, guys. They are, in theory, 11.5 points better, but that's where the numbers and the narratives kind of clash. If the Clippers don't come there play their best game, then they won't look like they're 11.5 point favorite. And what I'm saying is, with this being day after Thanksgiving, some of these home teams being a little fat and happy, you may not get some of their best games here. I'd be looking towards the Pistons plus the points here. Let's go to the streets of Charlotte here, man. We got the Hornets. The Timberwolves, very hot, man. I must say, these guys are hotter than a firecracker. They're only sitting at 9-9 on the season. If you look at it, the Hornets did beat them the past 3 games. There is a huge injury for the Hornets here. Their starting center here, Miles Plumlee, is questionable here with a calf. If he doesn't go, that'll be huge for the Timberwolves. I must say, they've won 5 straight, covered 6 straight here, Shark. And you have the Hornets here. They're coming off a little 3-game road trip. They went 2-1. They head back to the house now, Shark. What do you think about this game?
I mean, this is a really interesting spot. Of course, we don't like to buy teams that are both equally hot or cold. I think you're finding an environment here where both teams are in definitely a aggressive buy position. I want to take the Wolves here, just being super street and honest. My first inclination to this game is Wolves. I do think that Charlotte is scrappy, and we talk about this all the time. Charlotte is absolutely hostage to their 3-point percentage volatility. Sometimes you see Charlotte win a game, they go all of a sudden, Terry Rozier comes in here and shoots 50% from 3 and they win. So there is that volatility. However, I do think Wolves here would be a lean, nothing official, Spectrum Center, 7 p.m. on the East Coast here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'd lean the Wolves as well. And you also have some all-star tracking is when we have the home team that's favored by 3, which is pretty stock. It's almost the same thing in the NFL when it goes down to 2.5. I'm gonna have to start tracking it because obviously with the 3, they're basically saying these are even teams. We're just giving the home court advantage to one team, and then when it drops lower than that, they're telling you, hey, look, the road team may actually be the better team in this spot, may win this game. So it's Timberwolves or nothing for me. The way I actually like the matchups as well with Russell, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. I like the matchups for them as well. Don't look down, but the Timberwolves are actually playing some really good defense this year, and that's what you need to beat the Hornets. They're a really offensive team, like the run and gun. If you have some guys that can go up against Rozier, LaMelo Ball, and stop those guys, you have a chance at beating the Hornets. And Bridges as well. Bridges been going off. Jared Vanderbilt going up against him. I think it's a really good matchup, really good game as well. Lean Timberwolves for me. We got the Suns versus the Knicks here. The Suns on a 13-game winning streak here, Shark. I said it a few days ago that they'll probably drop the next one in Brooklyn, the back-to-back on the road. So what I'm saying is, as Suns are nothing for me here. It was at 3. It's up to 3.5. I don't think the Knicks are that team this year, in my opinion. They don't have the defense that can hang with the Suns, and their offense has been a lot better. But like I say, the Suns, they're a really good defensive team. So it's about whose game plan is going to win here, Shark. Would you be willing to bet against the Suns on a 13-game win streak?
Yes, I would, actually. And, sometimes my squad, I tell you, they're confounding. They're hard to predict. We always talk about this. With the Knicks, it's not necessarily the number, it's the motivation. The Knicks, for me, are not the guys that got drunk on Thanksgiving, like the Shark. They're the guys that waited around in their home locker room waiting for the Suns to come in there. And as Jay Money clicks out for a minute because he's not listening to the tape, but we're joking around.
I'm here. You don't see me?
Oh, no, you clicked out for a second.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. But truthfully,
what the fuck is going on?
Because I think, again, they show up for the moment. They show up for the spot. They're not partying in New York. They're not traveling. They're not in hotels for Thanksgiving. And you look at what's going on here. Phoenix minus 3.5, historically short. 216.5 speaks to just a defensive battle. I think the Knicks come in here similar to what they did against the Lakers, potentially win the game outright.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Can you hear me, Sharky? Well, I know my shoe was kind of tripping.
Yeah,
can you hear me? Okay, yeah, you cool. Yeah, it's Suns or nothing for me in this one. Like I said, I think there's some merit, some real true merit to fading the home team today. And then you look at the Suns; they have been on the road here. And the one thing I was reading up, they took their families on the road with them, so they're comfortable. They probably had Thanksgiving with them themselves or whatever. Not a huge party like they're at the house. It's a whole old bar in their house and stuff, but still probably had a good time with their family. So I think if there's one team here, like I say, that on the road, I think the Suns probably bring it together. They're a much better offensively and defensive team, and better, I'd say better coach team right now. I mean, the Suns are one of the better coach teams in the league. This 13-game win streak is not an accident. The Suns are one of the most hard-nosed teams in the league, and I just don't think that the Knicks play good enough defense, in my opinion, to stick with these guys. So, I mean, obviously, if you get on Booker and try to shut down some of these guys, it's possible. The Knicks, I know that they can turn it up here. So it's a tough game, but I think the Suns will win this one and lose the game tomorrow. That's just how I see it going down. Some I looked at last week, my guys. Let's go to the next game here. Let's go to the streets of Orlando here. I'll give you guys a gem here. You might want to look towards some Wendell Carter Jr. props. He said, come on record saying he's turned up for this game. Obviously, the Bulls drafted him, and then they traded him to the Magic. It was something that he wasn't necessarily expecting. He's saying he's turned up for this game. They won't have Cole Anthony, though, and regardless, I think the Bulls will also be turned up for this game. Vucevic is going to tell them, hey, look, let's go back to Orlando, smack these guys up. Last year when they first got traded, the Magic had a couple of really good games versus them, but it was just Vucevic and Levine. And now they have reinforcements. They have Lonzo Ball over there. They got DeRozan, which has been a huge thing for them getting DeRozan. So I think that the Bulls get back on the right track today. They do have the Heat tomorrow. Could be a look ahead, but I'm hopping on the Bulls here in the first quarter and the first half. I took the first quarter -3, first half -4.5. Bulls. I think they finna take these Magic to Smack City early here, but I did stay away from the full game with them having the Heat on deck tomorrow. Shark, what you think? Could you talk me off?
Absolutely not. I mean, we talk about this all the time. The Magic do not back up covers with covers. They do not back up efforts with efforts. Finding the Bulls here off a particularly lackluster stretch. The Bulls have hit a bit of a lack of wind off of what was a really nice spot. Of course, we have a general snapshot and feel towards the Bulls. I think it's a great buy spot for the Bulls. And of course, when people in the chat, we see Simba in there, my man, cheers up, fears down. We're having a little libations here. When you see Jay Money locking in on first quarters and first halves, pay attention because that is important stuff. Jay, you know this historically. When you start to see halves and first quarters, it's because the environmental flow is very specific in those environments. And we talk about it all the time off the record. When you can hone in on just the first quarter because it's a group, it's an energy, that those can be the best spots in the entire sport. I messaged you 2 nights ago about the Dubs second half coming in there, and the Dubs absolutely massacred the Sixers on a second half spot. And it's the same type of thing here, where you want to be ahead of the environment before the environment exists. And Jay's absolutely onto something here, without question.
Exactly. That's a damn good look by my guy Simba in the chat as well. That's what I'm talking about. Wendell Carter Jr. Double. Or am I still here? Shark, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. For some reason cutting out on me. I don't know why.
No, I can hear you. No, it could be mines, bro. It could be mines. But no, we're going to get out of here. Wendell Carter Jr. double plus 160. I absolutely love it, Simba. I absolutely love it. Points, rebounds, maybe not assists. He may not be passing the ball too much tonight, but Wendell Carter Jr. has definitely come on record saying this is a huge game for him. So, but just likewise, Vucevic as well on the other side. He's going to want to come back to Orlando, ball out, only his second game back. They just lost to the Houston Rockets. I do think they'll come out here guns blazing, in my opinion here. And no, Cole Anthony is out once again for the Magic. Bulls first quarter, first half for me. Let's go to the next. Go to the streets of Indiana here, my guys. Go to the streets of Indiana. I hadn't bet this game, but I want to take the Pacers here. I do. I like the Pacers today. This is a double revenge spot. Obviously, OG is questionable here for the Raptors. Burke is already out. This is the last game of a 6-game road trip for the Raptors. Now, they're used to being on the road, right? They played the whole season last year in Tampa Bay on the road. They are only 2-4 against the spread last 6 games. Only 3-7 against the spread last 10. The Pacers double revenge game. They've lost to the Raptors already 2 times earlier this year. You could argue that the Raptors are in much better. They were playing a lot better basketball. The Pacers were playing a lot worse basketball. Starting to figure some things out. They got LeVert back. They're at the house. I think they get some revenge tonight, coming off the overtime loss to the Lakers, which is kind of like a Ciroc on ice. Oh no, AD. But I think the Pacers gonna get it done tonight here, Shark.
Yeah, this is tough for me. I mean, we saw it with the Indy game against the Lakers. They can be very sharp on the figure, and something that I actually failed to cap, which is not my usual quality. Going back to the Lakers game, they had been on the hook the previous 2 games. You saw that game. They were up in the fourth quarter. They melted it off. This is a double revenge game, and I'm not disagreeing whatsoever with your commentary here, but I do think this line could be razor sharp. I don't necessarily love fading the Raptors. We talk about teams that have point per game differentials on a positive side coming up. Both teams fit this camp. Both teams should move in the northward direction. And I think this is just a tough cap, generally speaking.
Yeah, no, I got you here. It's a terrible spot if you ask me for the road team. Not only 4 or 5 game road trip, last game was a 6-game road trip, and the last 10 games, the Raptors have not won back-to-back games. They hadn't covered back-to-back games as well. So they'll win 1, they'll drop 3, and then they'll win 1. They drop their 1 to Golden State, and then they bounce back versus Memphis. This is the bottom out spot if you ask me for the road trip. It was just Thanksgiving. Well, maybe not Thanksgiving to the Toronto guys, but still, I think they're ready to go to the house. Double revenge for the Pacers. They're at the house where they're playing a lot better. I like the Pacers here. Lines come up as well from 3. The last game was 1 in the first one. They tell you this is probably going to be the Pacers' best chance to beat the Raptors here at the house. I like the Pacers here, -3.5. Hawks versus Grizzlies, I must say, 50-50 type of game. My guy has the hat on, so we have to talk about it. Grizzlies obviously coming off a loss at the house. The Hawks coming off a win on the road. They've won 6 straight games now, but we know they're still only 2-8 straight up on the road, 1-9 against the spread. They just covered their first spread on the road here, Shark. Do you think your guys get it done, the Grizzlies here at the house?
I think this is an absolute toss, and I'm wearing the hat because I think it's a great print. And I know there's a lot of hat guys in the chat. I see you guys. I respect you guys. Cheers up, fears down, as we were saying before. But truthfully, this is an absolute toss. As Jay made the comment, one of the things we're adjusting on in our capping is the idea that trends don't exist long term. And Atlanta, obviously being so unbelievably lackluster on the road, did win at San Antonio. They could continue that win. And Memphis, obviously, in this position at -1, super short and sharp. This honestly could go either way. Nothing for me officially here.
Yeah, that's a damn good hat. I love the hat. Yeah, it's a tough game for me, guys. The Grizzlies have not been great defensively, but on the road, the Hawks act like they can't play offense. So don't be surprised if the Grizzlies do figure it out today at the house. Obviously, it's a huge rivalry. These 2 teams usually play like close to Martin Luther King Day. Probably happened again in early January, but I don't even have a lean for it. I'm staying off that one, man. Let's go to the streets of Denver here. We're going to try to get to a few more games before we get out here. Let's go to the streets of to Denver here. We got the Bucks versus the Nuggets here. And the system tells me to take the Nuggets here, guys. When I always said, I'll say it over and over again. A system that I kind of cracked here has been hitting it over 70% this year. You want to hop when the team is on a 5-game win streak or 5-game homestand. That first game on the road, it's an environmental shift. You want to fade them. Obviously, going to altitude makes it even worse. You look at the Bucks won 5 straight. The Nuggets have lost 5 straight. So we need to see Jokic probably had a big Thanksgiving, probably ate real good, probably put some ice on their wrist. He's missed the past couple games. Looked like he could have came back to the last game, guys. So I guess I'll give you guys some inside info. Jokic looked like he could have came back the last game. They didn't play him. You see him out there. He hitting jumpers, everything. I think the wrist is all right. I guess what I'm saying is if you like the Nuggets, you probably go ahead and get that value now. I think there's a high chance that he'll come to play here. A heavy opponent as well. The Bucks, they got the champs in the house, right, Shark? 5-game lose streak. I'd be betting that Jokic comes back. I look at Nuggets here, first quarter, first half, possibly even trifecta spot, but definitely want to fade the Bucks here early in new environment, Short.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't disagree. I mean, obviously, when a player comes back into the lineup, we always talk about this. It's growing pains environment. We don't know if that's necessarily a jolt or not. It could be a difficult little transition period, particularly in the first quarter, the first half. We just don't know. And I think a general snapshot of this board is it's very difficult. There's a lot of counter narratives and counterpoints to every side here. I wouldn't disagree yet again, but nothing official for me here.
Gotcha. Yeah, my guy in the chat says stay off Nuggets. I'll be honest. The last 3 times somebody told me to stay off some shit, it cash, bro. So yeah, I actually like when people do this shit. Come and chat. Don't take that shit. So all right. And it's crazy because a few years ago the same thing happened. It got so far to where I told someone, make sure you come in the comments and tell me not to take some shit because we were hitting it at such a high rate. But I think the Nuggets will cash today. I think it's a good fade of the Bucks heading out here on the road. They got hot at the house. They have been balling with Giannis, Holiday, and Middleton, but we know Middleton isn't necessarily the same on the road. And they got some guys that can stifle Giannis as well. So Nuggets, the only way I'd be looking at there, first quarter, first half, possibly even full game as well. And my guy, real quick, made a good point. Obviously, the star player come back in and mess things up. But when you've lost 5 straight and you're such a high usage player like Jokic, it can only help them, in my opinion. So if he comes back, I'd definitely be looking towards the Nuggets here. Let's go to the streets of Utah here, and then we're gonna get to 2 of the late games here. Just like I'd say, just a hidden angle that I'm looking at here today. I think we want to fade these big home faves today. Even if they do get the win, they could come out a little bit sluggish, a little fat and happy, turkey, ham, stuffing, all that. They're at the house, they're partying, right? It's the day after Thanksgiving, especially when you're facing an uninspiring team. We're going up against the Pelicans. We're not getting up for this shit. The Jazz are coming off a loss at the house, but I must say, I'm not taking the Pelicans here, but they can defend the 3-point line. They can, and that's what you need to do versus the Jazz. I think the Pelicans can keep this one within 10 points. There's no way I'm taking it, but I do lean the Pelicans here, Shark. What do you think about the angle of fading the big home faves the day after Thanksgiving?
I think that's an overspoken narrative, to be honest. I think we talk about this all the time. They are professional athletes. Certain guys don't take their quality seriously. Most do take their quality seriously. And I think these narratives oftentimes are just, as I said, overspoken. Taking the Jazz here on a big number, though, is inherently difficult. The Pelicans are one of the biggest buy teams in the sport. We always say this, and, Jay, you just made the comment in the chat. People say, don't do that. Oftentimes, don't do that is the best idea in the entire sport. The Pelicans, obviously, Zion Williams still on the rack. He probably enjoyed Thanksgiving, and I'm not sure if it was catered by McDonald's.
Oh, so it's not a narrative, but you're going to use it with Zion Wilson. I dig it.
Jay, I'm loving and respecting right now. Cheers up, fears down, baby.
Oh, I know what you mean. Now, I'm just saying, but you see what I'm saying. Yeah, Zion having heavy. Now, I know what you mean, but I don't think it's an overspoken narrative because I don't think anyone's talking about it. But I think that's one of those simple psychology things that it's just a simple way. It's just psychology. We're all human beings, right? This is the USA. We all ate food. We all had to unbutton our top button, right? I'm just speaking to the home teams where they're comfortable at their house. Mm-hmm. They're having big dinners with their families and shit, where the road teams, not necessarily, they're maybe a little bit more focused on the game is what I'm saying.
No, I don't disagree. And when I say overspoken, another thing we talk about lifestyle, we talk about, your own mind. Everybody has their own mind. Maybe it's overspoken in my mind. So I'm just speaking off the rack in my own life. But maybe for me, they're just underbought, which seems ridiculous to the public. But I do think the Pelicans are underbought. And I think they're going to come. I really do. I mean, I love my man Jonas Valanciunas, my brother, actually, just for those that are wondering. But Bi is a very underspoken grinder, and we talk about championship players. I always talk about Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Patrick Beverly, these grinder type of dudes. My man Bi, he's a grinder, bro. He gets I wouldn't say an underspoken, disrespected rap, but I do think to a certain degree he does, because he went to Duke for a one-off. They didn't really compete in the NCAA tournament that year, and he's not really given respect. I think this guy is a massive competitor. And you see, going back to last year, Jay, when we covered a lot of spreads at home with the Pelicans specifically, it was mostly Bi taking over the game in the fourth quarter. And when you see young guys that take over the game in the fourth quarter, they are competitors. And that's why I talk about championship players. And, when you're trying to back the Pelicans here, I think you could put your hat on that he's going to show up for you, and their group is going to compete because they are so unbelievably undervalued in the campaign. Nothing official, but just a little NBA chat here with Jay and the Shark on a suddenly not so casual Free Friday.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't wait to see the record of these road teams covering today, if you ask me. So I think that the Pistons and the Pelicans, both of the shitty P's, I think both of them covered today as plus I think that they'll probably be more focused on the game. That the favorite will probably be looking ahead. They're fat and happy. They're at the house a little bit too comfortable, and it's uninspiring opponents after a pretty big holiday. So there's a couple last games. One home team that I wouldn't fade, and that's the Golden State Warriors. I will not fade them right now. The line did open up at 7. It's down to 6. It's always super fishy to me. One team, it doesn't matter with all the money on them, 75% of the public, 95% of money on them. It doesn't matter with the Warriors. They'll get down 19, they'll get down 20 and still come and win by 20. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little bit surprised that the Blazers getting so much love on the road here. It's going down. They are getting love. They are still on the 1-8 straight up and against the spread here, Shark. This probably be the last game we go over, guys. What do you think about this one? Warriors continue to smack everybody up?
Honestly, we talk about clusters. We talk about data clusters. The Warriors are proving that point can exist. We saw it last year with Utah specifically. I think the Warriors can do it. And when you see what they did against the 76ers, it proves that point even further. When they come out horribly, 34-23, can't shoot the ball, no flow, no energy, no passion, and they still win the game 116-96. This team is just on some other shit. They're focused, they're committed, they're ultimate. And those are the words that I use in my own mind, but this is what Steph Curry's doing in this campaign, and Draymond Green and these boys. You see the second unit. I mean, really, the second unit is turned up their quality. Jordan Poole out of Michigan State has become basically the sixth man of the year. The guy is absolutely perpetually wet. And you just can always rely on this guy as a heat check. And Andrew Wiggins has gone back to being the number one pick in the draft that he never was. So, I mean, you look at what's going on here. The Dubs should theoretically continue to just absolutely pound people here, Jack.
Yeah, I'm not betting against the Warriors right now. I'm with you. They on some different shit. They smoking some different shit. They on that gas. They on that Khalifa gas out there, Marathon OG out there. Whatever they're on, I need some of it. Don't bet against the Warriors right now. Do you take them or you stay away from the game? Another thing, Warriors third quarters have been absolutely killing it, guys. It's only one more game, the Lakers versus Kings. I'd like the Lakers coming back to the house after a 5-game East Coast road trip. They're laying points. If Rashawn Holmes is questionable here and Harrison Barnes are both questionable. If it's full squad, I may hop on the Kings here. I do think they're due for a sustained buy, in my opinion. They're due to come up huge, largely, in my opinion, and the Lakers are in the fade spot. They're already a fade team right now. You don't want to lay points with them, and they're coming back to the house off of a 5-game East Coast road trip, probably 8 super good last night. I think that I heavy lean to Kings for me in that one, my guys. We didn't talk about Wizards or OKC or Celtics versus Spurs. I leaned the road team in both of those games, Celtics versus Wizards. I think the road teams will have some really representative efforts today. It could be them being a lot more focused on the game. It could be the home teams a lot fat and happy, stuffing ham, turkey, all of that, my guys, partying, maybe a little drinks. So for me, give me Bulls first quarter, first half. Heavy lean to Pacers. I don't think there's one home team that's ready to play today. Raptors on a 6-game road trip. Pacers, heavy lean to Pacers. Lean Nuggets, heavy lean to Nuggets first quarter, first half, my guys. Lean Pelicans, lean Pistons, lean Kings as well. Shark. I know it's a lot of leans, but it is what it is. Shark, anything you like and close them out for me.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the 8:30 p.m. game here, AT&T Center, San Antonio, Texas, Celtics coming in here on a very short total. Again, we look at numbers, we look at narratives, but numbers tell the story. This is a really low total, and that tells you a story here. 214.5 historically in the NBA, by the way, is an absolutely razor sharp figure. So I don't think you're having a blowout winner. But this under is speaking to me just off the bat. The Celtics like to score the ball. And as Jay said, if the Spurs are ever going to win a game in this campaign, theoretically it would be with defense. The under here has a little bit of merit. I think it's an interesting point. I keep looking over here because my hats are over here. My brother just left my house. He was hanging out in my lab for a period of time. I want to put on a buy hat. Can I do it for a second, Jack?
No disrespect, Shark, but I have to leave right now. I was pretty much just asking you whatever you like today's card. But my guy said, hey, he liked the Celtics and that Spurs under. I know he was saying maybe lean to that Pistons and Clippers game over. Like I say, I lean Pistons. Official for me, Bulls first quarter, -3. Bulls first half, -4.5. I'd like to lean the Suns there. Pacers, double revenge spot. Lean Pacers in that game. And heavy lean to Nuggets as well. I do think there's a heavy possibility that Jokic could come back today. Jokic coming back, probably most likely. Fade the Bucks first game on the road. Don't bet against the Warriors right now. See what's up with Holmes and Harrison Barnes. Lean the Kings in that game. Fade the Lakers, my guys. I got to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Go and follow my guy on Twitter at Sharks in Sports. You can go and follow me as well at J Money is Money. Let's cash this Bulls first quarter, first half, my guys. We out.